If you like to sew like I do, confidently, but incompetently, I think you'll like this. In this ultra slim fit shirt design, I added elastic fabric beneath the yoke to provide for flexibility. But compared to the rest of the shirt's design, it's rather plain. And on closer inspection of the stitching, you can see it's rather wobbly. I wanted to add interesting curves while also hiding my stitching. To demonstrate this process, I'll show how to sew an inset circle with a hidden stitch, though this process generalizes to other curved seams as well. My wife swears she married a Dr. Mercer, and my boss calls me Ryan, but you can call me CDSLUG. In this tutorial, we're sewing a curving, disappearing stitch that's layered underneath the garment. It's implemented using a cardstock-defined seam line as an ultra-precise guide, but let's just call it the double bottom CDSLUG. You'll need 2 fabrics, some cardstock, and optionally double-sided tape. Draw or print your design on cardstock. Baste or tape it to the top of your layer 1 fabric. Machine stitch the shape's outline through both. Though every mistake will echo across the layers like the sins of your fathers. Cut out the inside of the top fabric, keeping a generous seam allowance. Snip relief slits around the curves. Use the double-sided tape to secure tabs down to the back of the cardstock. At this point, the seam stitch is like the Berlin Wall of your seam. Apply even more tape to the cardstock inside the cutout. Stick your bottom fabric behind it. Stitch outside the shape. This temporary stitch links the top and bottom fabric. Unstick the tabs. Be gentle, or they'll fray. One at a time, sew each tab down radially, inside to out. Do not stitch inside the defined shape. This step prevents radial slipping when sewing the final stitch. Remove the outer stitching. This temporary stitch is in the way of the final stitching step, but its role was replaced by the radial stitches. Now toss that cardstock support like it's a deadweight shareholder before an IPO. Whoa, you're just one step away from showing off this authentically American seam. You can strut confidently, knowing you're backing a seam which pretends to be self-made without support, leans hard on single-use plastics, and buries all its flaws under a smug, seamless surface. This is the final stitching. Get as close as possible to the original outline while staying on the outside. The top and bottom layers will appear more coplanar the closer you stitch to the original defined shape. I would suggest making several passes, each slightly closer than the last. After each round, check the remaining flap on the front side. If your final stitch was sufficiently close to the shape stitching, the seam flap should be minimal and the shape dimensions quite accurate. Let's look at some comparisons. Dale Fleming's 6-minute circle is quite similar, but the major difference is in how the shape is defined. I believe using a cardstock-defined seam allows much more precise shapes with much less required planning and precision. The next shows an inset circle sewn free-handed, without pins for alignment. Then, after steam pressing. The next is an inset circle using pins for alignment. Then, after steam pressing. Finally, the double bottom CDSLUG before pressing and after pressing. Wow. The double bottom CDSLUG applies to other curved seams as well. Here is a curve along a linear path. Notice that it works on concave shapes as well, though hand-stitched. This is a set of 7 3/4 inch keyholes with 3/8 inch margins. the double bottom CDSLUG even works on itsy bitsy teeny weeny pepperoni. Like and subscribe.